Happy Sunday, guys. What's up? Welcome into another episode of the Daily Juice Podcast. My name's Matt Perrault. You guys can follow me across all socials at Sports Talk Matt. And an apology to you guys who may have been listening to the podcast on Spotify. We had a bit of a hiccup with Spotify yesterday for the podcast. We were on Apple and on YouTube. If you ever go to get the podcast and it's not there, check the BettingPros YouTube channel. The video is always there. And then go check Apple as well. I know a lot of you guys listen on Spotify, but just for that one day, the podcast will be there every day, okay? If there's a problem, then there's something that needs to be addressed, and we will try our best to address it. Spotify is doing some things with their back end that we think there's a little bit of a issue. We should have it rectified for today, so hopefully the podcast will load properly on Spotify. But I apologize if you missed the podcast yesterday. You missed a 2-in-1 day, a winning day, and a day that we needed because, unfortunately, we are down for the week. We're down 2 units or 1.96 units for the week. As we head towards a Sunday, we need a 3-0 sweep here. 2-1 won't get it done. We need a 3-0. We'll go 3-0. We'll be profitable for the week. So we'll see what we can do here coming up for today. But hopefully you guys are going to be able to get the podcast wherever you get your audio podcasts or always on the BettingPros YouTube channel for video. This podcast is being brought to you by omahasteaks.com. The promo code is JUICE when you go there for the Burger Perfection Flight. 24 burgers, all different cuts of meat, porterhouse, fillets. Go check it out. If you're dad, and I know it's Mother's Day, okay? Hold on, more on that in a second. Dad out there, though, maybe a mom too, they like to grill out, they like burgers. $89.99 for the Perfection Flight at omahasteaks.com with the promo code JUICE. Okay, Mother's Day, like I mentioned. Tried to do something kind of fun, like a Mother's Day type of bet parlay, something or other. Didn't get there, okay? We missed the baseball parlay on Friday. We're now 1-4 doing those. I don't love parlays, okay? I've told you guys before, I'm not a fan of parlays, but, you know, they are what they are. You guys like betting them, so like throwing in one a week, that'll do, but 1-4 since I've brought that back 5 weeks ago. But it's a Mother's Day show today. All I can say is call your mom, okay? Whether you're estranged from your mom or not, I've had my fair share of issues with my mother, so I'm sure you guys can relate to that. Families are always difficult, but on days like this, it costs nothing to just pick up the phone, make the phone call, say Happy Mother's Day, and, you know, she's still your mom. So regardless of what happened, she's still your mother. So to all the moms out there, Happy Mother's Day. Hopefully you have a wonderful day. Happy Mother's Day to the moms in my life. There are many. Hopefully you guys are going to have a wonderful day today and enjoy this Mother's Day. So with that said, I can't do a fun little Mother's Day parlay, so I got 3 bets for you coming up. Let's start with the T-Wolves and the Denver Nuggets. Why can't Denver start fast? Like, just why can't Denver start fast? It's really weird. They don't start fast. Now, they killed Minnesota in the last game, in Game 3. Blew them out. Game went over because of that. I lean towards the under, but it's 204. It's really low. Went over, closed 205. Landed 207 in the last game, even with a blowout. Minnesota has been very good this year, bouncing back after tough losses. Minnesota's at home. Denver, for whatever reason, Denver just plays asleep in the first half. First quarter, first half. They don't cover first half numbers. They don't cover first quarter numbers. But I'm concerned that the Denver Nuggets will do their typical third quarter, fourth quarter wake up and go win Game 4 and tie the series at 2, while the T-Wolves come out fast in the first half and try to rectify what just happened in Game 3 and rid themselves of that pathetic performance. I think the best game the best bet on the game is Minnesota -2 in the first half. A bucket. Lead by a bucket. Take it into half, up by 2, 3, 4, somewhere in that range, and then we'll see what happens in the second half. Maybe we live bet it. So I lean towards the under, but it's Sunday, and I'm always really nervous about betting totals on Sunday. We don't bet baseball on Sundays, okay? Not until I have to. Yes, there will be some Sundays where all we can bet is baseball, and we will bet baseball. But for today, Minnesota -2 in the first half, 1.1 units. I think the Timberwolves will be leading at halftime by more than a bucket. Don't know what happens in the second half, but Minnesota -2, first half, first bet for 1.1 units. Second bet, we're going to New York and Indiana, Game 4. Indiana looked great in Game 3 because, well, the Knicks are missing OG. OG's out again with that hamstring. When do the Knicks get tired? I mean, Josh Hart plays every game, every minute. They play 6 players. 6. Last game, Indiana wins the game 111-106. The game closed at 7. Indiana did not cover. Indiana hasn't covered the last 2 games. They lost by 9. They won by 5. They laid 7, and they were catching 4.5. The first game, they were catching 6, and they lost by 4. I do think Indiana is going to win, and I do think this is a pretty big opportunity here for Indiana to tie up the series. And I'm not saying that the Knicks are going to punt on this game, but they don't have to win this game. The Knicks can just go ahead and win on their home court, and they win the series. Indiana has to win this game. And while I don't love laying the 5.5, and while it does feel a little heavy, and while it opened up at 6, it was bet down to 5.5, I'm going to lay the 5.5. At home this year, Indiana was 24-19-2 against the number, against the Eastern Conference. Indiana was 24-19-2 against the Eastern Conference, and Indiana was 34-26-1 against the Eastern Conference overall. I just think if you look at the numbers for Indiana at home, overall this year, they were 48-41-3 ATS against the number. Yes, they haven't covered the last 2, but I think they cover this game. I think Indiana wins the game going away. I think New York starts to get tired with all the minutes that Tibbs is playing for his starters. Kind of like Boston yesterday, as Boston won the game and covered because of what they did in the fourth quarter and the third quarter. I think Indiana comes out big first half, big second half. Indiana -5 for 1.1 units. And finally, to hockey. Edmonton up against Vancouver in Game 3. Canucks could have won Game 2 and gone up 2-0. Instead, it's 1-1 as they go back to Edmonton. Now look at, in this series so far, all 2 games have gone over. 5-4, 4-3. You want to bet the over, go ahead, okay? But I'm a little concerned about the way the Oilers have played at home this year against the number. The Oilers have been a pretty good team holding. Remember that stretch where they went 2 or fewer goals given up to their opponent for some like ridiculous run, and you're like, wow, you wouldn't think that Edmonton is like a solid under team, but they went 24-20-3 overall to the under this year. Over the final 10 games, when it really started to turn into like, playoff type atmosphere, Edmonton was a little bit more of an over team. They were 6-3-1 to the over, but third string goaltender, it's juiced under to the 6.5. I'm going to take a shot here. And the shot I'm going to take is at +130 for the Oilers to win the game on the money line. Sorry, on the puck line, excuse me. Oilers are 28-9-4 this year on the at home straight up. But when they were playing on the puck line at home, 24-20, they were up over 9 units this year at home on the puck line. We might need an open net to get here, okay? But this game feels like a 4-2 final. Or maybe a 5-1 final for the Oilers. And if we're wrong, it's only 1 unit. But if we're right, we could probably have a winning week. So because of that reason, I'm going to push my luck here a little bit on a Sunday and take a team that has been pretty good on the spread this year. It's been pretty good at home against the spread this year. And a profitable team, 24-20, up 9.55 units on the year playing at home. Over the last 10 games for the Oilers this season, they were 6-4, up 5 units. I'm going to play +130. Puck line for the Oilers to win the game by more than 1 goal. 2 or more goals for the victory for the Edmonton Oilers here today. At home, they've been dominant. The Canucks have been okay on the road, 23-14-4, but third string goaltender on the road. Edmonton, great at home, good on the puck line at home. Puck line Oilers +130 for 1 unit. Okay, so 3 bets for us here. 2 in basketball, 1 in the NHL. T-Wolves -2 in the first half against Denver. Pacers minus 5.5 for the full game against the New York Knicks, and Oilers puck line at plus 130 against the Vancouver Canucks. Hopefully a 3-0 day, and then it's a winning week for us here on the Daily Juice podcast. My name is Matt Perrault. Follow me every single social at Sports Talk Matt, and every single morning it's the Daily Juice podcast. Always being brought to you by OmahaSteaks.com.